Is TikTok getting banned?
TikTok influencers beware.
House of Representatives
Voted on a bipartisan bill that could effectively ban the app in the United States.
And the reason I voted for it.
It was an overwhelmingly bipartisan vote.
In an unprecedented move, earlier in March of 2024, TikTok started sending push alerts to its users, urging them to call their representative in the House to vote no on banning TikTok. As a result, from the most conservative to most liberal districts all across the country, the office inboxes of these congressmen were flooded by pro-TikTok messages. And then, a week later, on March 13th, 2024, exactly 4 years after COVID was declared a national emergency in the United States, leading to the boom of TikTok, the House of Representatives passed the bill banning TikTok by an overwhelming margin. With the bill heading to the Senate and to the president for signing, who went on record saying he would ban TikTok if the bill ever came to his desk, Americans, pundits, and politicians alike are all wondering one thing: what is the future of TikTok? With the social media app, interest in it has peaked to an all-time high on Google just within the last few weeks, and it's no wonder, because TikTok could be facing an unprecedented ban. Compared to other video sharing platforms, why is TikTok being targeted, and will TikTok suffer in the end? And what are the implications when TikTok does get banned? The app needs no proper introduction. It was formerly Musical.ly before being bought by the Chinese company ByteDance to market as its overseas version of Douyin, a popular app within mainland China. And this is where the problem starts. The ban that TikTok is facing is one over national security risk concerns. Right now, the United States and China are geopolitical rivals in an economic Cold War. The Democratic and Republican Party may have disagreements, but they are all united on one issue: to oppose the Chinese Communist Party's influence on Americans in whatever way is possible. The Speaker of the House, the body that voted to ban TikTok on March 13th this year, said in a public statement that Communist China is America's largest geopolitical foe and is using technology to actively undermine America's economy and security. He ended the statement concluding that March 13th's bipartisan vote demonstrates Congress' opposition to Communist China's attempts to spy on and manipulate Americans, and signals our resolve to deter our enemies. Adding on to that, TikTok's also facing scrutiny over its data sharing practices, which is with quotations because other social media companies do it as well. But since they're based in America, they face less pressure. Some see this ban as a violation of the First Amendment, and they argue that it infringes on the amendment's emphasis on free speech. With its ban, not only will the self-expression of many be suppressed, but businesses that rely on TikTok as a medium of advertisement and monetary gain will suffer as a result.
It will also take billions of dollars out of the pockets of creators and small businesses. It will put more than 300,000 American jobs at risk, and it will take away your TikTok.
TikTok creators, along with the Chinese Foreign Ministry, have responded negatively to the bill, calling it an act of bullying. There are also arguments that the rhetoric around this bill is comparable to the Red Scare of the 50s, with America using propaganda to increase the fear of communism. To sum it up, here's what they said to Senator Joseph McCarthy, the architect of the Red Scare.
You have done enough. Have you no sense of decency, sir?
These critics are also upset about the government's focus on this ban, as the resources and time they're spending could be better used to combat more pressing issues, such as the national debt. There are also representatives in their late 70s to 80s that voted on this bill, and people are criticizing these older politicians for not understanding TikTok properly and being out of touch with this generation, such as Representative Nancy Pelosi of California.
This is not an attempt to ban TikTok. It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe. A winner. A winner.
And other critics come even from the House itself. Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez publicly criticized her discomfort with how rushed the bill was. I'm voting no on the TikTok forced sale bill. This bill was incredibly rushed from committee to vote in 4 days with little explanation. There are serious antitrust and privacy questions here, and any national security concerns should be laid out to the public prior to a vote. Also, very brief intermission, but if you want to discuss more about history or politics, or just ask us general questions, you can join the Discord in the link below. But there's no denying that the government recognizes the power of the application. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of American politicians on TikTok from the local to state to national level. Representative Jeff Jackson of North Carolina, known as the TikTok congressman with 2.5 million followers on the platform, was one of the votes banning TikTok in the House. And while President Biden has vocally supported the banning of TikTok, the Biden campaign recently joined TikTok to prepare for the president's re-election campaign.
Trump or Biden?
Are you kidding? Biden.
Which prompted his own wave of critics calling him out for hypocrisy. Even Biden's predecessor Donald Trump commented on the ban, opposing his successor on this issue, stating on his social media platform Truth Social, "You ban TikTok, Facebook and others, but mostly Facebook, will be a big beneficiary. And I think Facebook has been very dishonest. I think Facebook has been very bad for our country, especially when it comes to elections." And the former president is not wrong about who could benefit from a ban. Before I explain whether or not it's likely that TikTok will get banned, we have to think about the benefits and consequences of such a ban. With an American user base of 170 million, as well as almost a billion on top of that with Chinese users, TikTok rivals YouTube in popularity. This prompted YouTube to start Shorts to compete with TikTok in September of 2020, but is, at the time of recording this, still being outdone by its competitor, which goes to show TikTok's heightened power in the creator economy. TikTok competes not just with YouTube, but other social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook. These corporations would be the biggest winners of a ban. As explained before though, the biggest losers will be the small businesses and creators that have relied on the platform, as they lose their audience that they've built over the years. Not to mention, even the discussion of a ban has caused backlash on government officials. And given that this is not just an election year, but a presidential year with greater voter turnout, this ban would have political implications, especially from young people who rely on the app heavily. Democrats that rely on youth support more than Republicans may lose supporters within that voting bloc, and this could translate to losses from your local state representative to President Biden. But at the same time, it's also possible that this could politically benefit those that voted for the TikTok ban. The House has already passed the bill, with noticeable Democratic opposition however, but they're now sending it to the Senate for a vote. Every seat in the House of Representatives is up for re-election this year, along with a third of the US Senate seats, and there's no question that those that vote on this bill will do so with their re-election chances in mind. But the provisions of the bill itself are complicated. To extend on this, some politicians in Congress that voted on the bill have done so believing that a looming ban would force ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, to sell the application to an American company.
And the reason I voted for it was because I genuinely believe the chance of a ban is practically zero.
As the TikTok Congressman Jeff Jackson ironically explains in his TikTok video,
TikTok may be sold to another company, but it'll continue to operate. The bill that just passed the House was about telling TikTok they have to sell to another company. Okay, but why? Why tell them they have to sell? The bottom line is there's a serious concern that the Chinese government can influence what you see on your For You page. They can tweak the algorithm in ways that may be helpful to them and harmful to us.
If TikTok does get banned in the end, which at this point seems incredibly likely, assuming the owner doesn't sell, will you consider this ban a net positive or net negative for America? Let me know in the comments below.